What's going on, guys? Today I wanted to talk a little bit about Destiny 2 and the possible DLC stuff coming, and a few things that were found after it was available on PC, and some PC guys got into the files and did things of that nature, which we all knew was going to happen. But I'm not going to just talk about that. I want to talk about the bigger picture a little bit on how we'll see if this saves Destiny or something like that. I mean, we all know Destiny has its issues. I've got a video coming out later with some friends of mine where we discuss at length what Destiny's issues are. Excuse me. And what can be done to fix it, or if they will fix it, or whatever it may be. But the main issue right now is lack of things to go for, the end game. There's nothing to do right now. For those who have hit 300, you're pretty much done with the game. There's no incentive to go out and get raid gear, or incentive to go out and get Trials of the Nine stuff. Trials of the Nine stuff you just get for playing. You don't get anything special for going flawless. It's just a thing you do on your own. Raid gear drops all the time. Once you beat the raid a couple times, you've got most of it. It's nothing worth going for. As of right now, there's nothing in the game keeping a lot of people on, and that's probably what the declining player base over the last week or two has been attributed to. A lot of people, I mean, it doesn't take a lot to get to 300. It really, really doesn't. I haven't put a ton of time into this, and I'm 300 right now, so there's no real, I mean, it's not a lot to really go into and really push for. But the Reddit user, let me find it, had gone through and found a couple different things, including new worlds, possibly coming in the new DLC. Link in the description to the exact page I'm talking about. I'm on right now. Ganymede, Myriad, are a couple of new worlds, a couple older ones that we may be able to get into. Patrol Zones, Venus, Mars, the Dreadnought, things of that nature, which for me should have been in the game from the get-go, places we'd even been to. Even if it was just patrols and public events and silly little things here and there from maybe quests, older quests from some of the Vanguard at the tower, even just send you back there. Even just put them in there. I mean, what's the harm of just copying and pasting those worlds over, and even creating a little bit new landscape or whatever it may be on those same worlds? Just give us a different little section of the map to play on, something like that. I mean, there are 5-6 worlds from Destiny 1. Just move them over. You don't even have to put part of the campaign on there. Even if the campaign was underwhelming and really kept to one or two of the specific worlds, there was just, I mean, just a little bit more, you know. But they may be coming back for those who are excited. Another couple worlds, Phobos and Mercury, were also there. A couple things coming back. Osiris coming back to the tower, Marcus Ren, those things as well. And also mention of the Black Garden and the Vault of Glass. So possibly a lot of things that were in Destiny 1 will be coming back, as well as some new things. The biggest DLC that's been talked about as of right now is what's going to happen with Rasputin, who while you're looking for your powers and stuff like that, going to the old shards of the Traveler, Cade's talking about in real detail about Rasputin, speaking from the Grimoire and things of that nature. So that seems to be the next DLC, or at least the spring DLC, and the next one may be the Osiris one. It's a bit fuzzy on which is which, or which one comes first, which one comes second, or if it comes as one DLC, whatever it may be. Those seem to be the DLCs coming. Now this is just a list of what was found in the game as of right now. But behind different things are old files and stuff like that, just audio files and stuff like that. So it's not certain. I mean, some of this stuff may just be audio files that were just sitting around that they never got rid of and things like that. I mean, he had to dig and dig and dig to get into some of these places, and good on him for doing it. Let me see the Reddit user. I'm going to leave the description in there. The DATAMINE, I don't know how to say that. I believe that's it. User the DATAMINE. So I'm going to leave the link in the description. You can go read it for yourself and go read what people speculate. I'm not here to really speculate. I'm here to talk about if this will save Destiny. Now, we're 7 weeks in, 6, 7 weeks in, 8 weeks in, and most of the people who started playing have gotten off. There was that chart flying around for a while that they decided to get rid of that was tracking how many unique players were on every day, and it started around 4 million for PvP and PvE, and it had dipped for PvP all the way down to 800,000, which is a humongous drop, around 1.4 million for PvE, and those two numbers at their lowest. So a lot of people were getting off, and we've already hit this point where people are only getting on Tuesday, and you're done doing your weekly stuff, and there's nothing else to do, and you're done. That's it. There's no point. And if you've hit 305, you're not even jumping on to do the weekly stuff. You're not gaining anything from the weekly stuff. There's no point. You can hold on to your power engrams if you'd like, but other than that, there's no real point in getting on and doing the weekly things if you've reached that level. And for those who haven't, you're getting on Tuesday and doing your weekly things, and a lot of people are popping off. So that's what a lot of people are doing. So I imagine during the week, on Tuesdays is the peak. For me, I would imagine, other than Saturday, people aren't at work and things like that. And then we drop off, maybe hit that Saturday bump, and then drop off, and then hit Tuesday bump and drop off again, and that's just the weekly cycle. And what we're hoping for, or what the question is this first DLC going to be good enough or big enough to hold us over for whatever the spring DLC may be, and hold us over until we get to it. Now, what happened with a lot of people in Destiny 1 is that we played it, and then you got to the first DLC, and a lot of people were gone. And the Taken King was really good, or it brought a lot of people back, and then it disappeared again. And those people who got off after the Taken King didn't really come back, and a lot of people who got off before the Taken King didn't really come back. And if you played the Taken King, a lot of those people came back, and then it just is slowly leveled off, which most games do after a certain point. But the Taken King, if you stuck around for the Taken King, you kind of kept it a little bit because the Taken King was rather something else. But if you got off before the Taken King and then you were gone, it was kind of like a not coming back thing. So after the first year, most people didn't come back, and that's what the question is with the DLC coming in December. The first, I believe it's December. It's winter. I believe it's December, which is another month, 2 months away. Is it going to keep people around long after this? Is it going to be big enough? Is it going to be filled with content? Is it going to be worth keeping people around? Because as of right now, if you bought Destiny 1 or Destiny 2 and you were one of the 4 million people playing it, I can guarantee you a couple 100,000 people have played through it for the first time, right? And they're playing it and enjoying it. And then the rest of us have played Destiny 1 and done all these things and have gotten to the end, and a lot of people have just jumped off. And I can imagine a lot of the people who've jumped off so far, of the 3 million, 2.5 million people who've not really come back yet, there's no incentive to come back as of right now. You're looking at it and thinking, well, this can't get much better, can it? I mean, you're better off waiting until year 3 when everything's out and ready, and then buying the DLC or whatever. If you bought the pass, then you don't have to buy it. But if you're better off playing all of 3 years worth of Destiny into one, and then it's a really good game, right? Destiny 1 was really fantastic once it reached the end of year 3. And that's what we all want, right? We all want this really good game filled with things to do, filled with content and things to grind for, and there's purpose in playing after we reach 300. As of right now, after we reach 300, there is like no purpose whatsoever, except for a lot of hardcore people who want to play the raid 70 times. I'm not one of those people who wants to play the raid 70 times. That's not me. I mean, if I play the raid a couple times, then I've played the raid a couple times, but I don't need to play it and play it and play it and play it. And I think a lot of people would say, or a lot of the hardcore people are like, well, you play the raid and you're shooting for the raid. That's what this whole thing's been about. You get the 305, you get the raid, you get the raid gear, but how many times do you really need to play the raid, right? How many times do you really need to play Trials of the Nine? Everybody's rocking the same weapon online. Everybody's got the same 2 or 3 weapons. You don't need to do anything in Trials of the Nine to get the gear. You can just be okay, win 3 to 5, and that's it. It's not... You don't have... The people who are really good and want to be really good, there's no reward for going out and grinding and pushing yourself for that, and that's what we hope comes with the DLC. Now I'm pushing to hope that the Rasputin ones first get us a little bit of the story, because they've been teasing that it was a pretty huge chunk of the game. I mean, those 3 missions where you're going to the Shards of the Traveler was a lot of Rasputin talk, and a lot of that, a lot of, if you sat through and listened to it, it was a lot. It was kind of a lot. It was always in the Grimoire and things like that. I believe Cade throughout the game, or throughout those missions, was even quoting directly from the Grimoire. So it's something a lot of people want to see, and hopefully it comes first, because right now already it seems like a content drought, or not necessarily a content drought, but the content's there, but there's no point in doing the content, you know. Even if they just for a week bought a planet back, bought Mars back, and just, here, go do a quest line on here and play some patrols, public events, get a special piece of exotic equipment, whatever. Just something every once in a while like that. You don't need, everything doesn't need to be massive, but we're hoping that the massive thing keeps us all interested, because as of right now, too many people are uninterested, right? We all want Destiny to be good. We all want Destiny to really work out. We all want to play Destiny for 3 years. We all want to be ready to play it and just have it and be able to jump on it any point in the next 3 years and be like, I got something to do. And already we don't. And unfortunately that's the case. But hopefully this new stuff from the DATAMINE this guy's done, hopefully a lot of that's in there. I'm reading through it, and the most important things to me are Osiris, obviously, and bringing some of these old worlds back and some of these new worlds. I just want something else to do. I mean, Titan and Io in this game are almost irrelevant. You play one campaign mission on them, not really great. Just picking up guys from your team, bring them back to beat the bad guy, Gaul. But there's nothing else to them. They're just moons, and they're like, there's not a lot to do on them. There's no real quest lines on them too much. The patrols obviously on every thing there, but everything else mostly takes place on the other planets. So we got 5 planets, I believe. I'm not sure how many exactly. I don't have it in front of me, but 2 of them are useless already. Earth has a lot to do, and campaign missions to run through, the Traveler, obviously, things of that nature. But there's a lot of things they spent their time on, it seems, like the farm and other things of that nature, that become irrelevant, and we don't want everything to slowly become irrelevant, which it seems to have already bounced back to. All these things that he's found here seem to push it in a good direction, which is good for the consumer, which is good for the customer, which is good for all of us who want Destiny to keep moving and already push out some more content. This seems like a lot, right? I mean, I don't think all of this comes in one DLC, but 2 DLCs, it seems like enough, especially if they add a little bit here and there to some of the current planets we have in Destiny 2, and not make them irrelevant. What would annoy me is if they added all these planets back, Mars, the Dreadnought, Old Russia we got here, the new planets, they look like Ganymede and Myriad, Phobos and Mercury. It would annoy me to bring them back and then make the others irrelevant. What we all want as customers is a lot to do, and combined this seems like a lot, right? Something you can spend a year playing. And if these 2 DLCs bring the new story and the new planets and the old planets back, now we've got 10 planets, 12 planets, whatever it may be. We got the main campaign we've already done, but we've got 2 new campaigns Another raid possibly in there. We'll have 2 raids, the campaigns from the DLCs, all these new planets. That's something that can hold you over for a year until they figure out what they're doing with year 2 of Destiny 2 and stuff like that. But if it's underwhelming, and if it's I don't believe there's going to be a raid in the first DLC, from what I remember. I don't believe there's a raid. So no raid. So we're just going to get the campaign and some new planets. Hopefully they add enough to that holds us over. We all want to be held over. We all want something to do. And that's just what we're hoping. This DATAMINE is good. It's got some nice precedents in here. Hopefully all of this stuff he's got in here comes true and it shows up in the next 2 DLCs. But I mean, really, these 2 DLCs that are coming, the winter one and the spring one, can shape this game. If the winter one is bad, how many people are going to be around for the spring one? How many? Not a lot. Not as much. I mean, 4 million started. There's only 1.5 million on at the moment. The DLC will come out and bring back more people, and they'll play. And other things will come out, and they'll play that, hopefully before then. But if that DLC isn't any good, and if you're like me, I haven't bought the season pass. I'll be buying all the DLCs. I just didn't have the money to put all of it in one go. So if the DLC comes out and I buy it, and it's not any good, I'm not going to go buy the next DLC. I'm not going to buy the spring one. That's just going to be it for Destiny, you know? I'm not going to put any more money into it. I'm not going to... no microtransactions. We haven't done any of that. So after that DLC, if it's not good, that's it for me. That's it for a lot of people. So I believe everyone's on the same page when we're hoping this DLC, or the DLC coming, and what we found in this DATAMINE, or what he found in this DATAMINE. I can't do any of that. What he found in the DATAMINE is good enough to hold us over. And I want to know what you guys think. Do you think that this can make or break Destiny like I do? I mean, it'll make or break Destiny for me. This first DLC coming. Just let me know what you think. Read over the Reddit article. I'm going to leave the link in the description. And let me know what you guys think, how it affects you, what'll happen if it's underwhelming for you, or if it's overwhelming. If it's fantastic, then we're all going to stick around for another year. We're going to have 2 DLCs to play all the time, including the main thing. So just let me know how you guys feel on that. Link to the Reddit thing in the description. Let me know. I'm going to have a long video coming out with a couple of buds of mine. We're going to discuss at length what's up with Destiny 2 and where it can go and other things of that nature. But for now, guys, that's the end of the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Peace!